Okay, now we have Terence from Microsoft with us. Terence, would you share a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sienna. So, first of all, my name is Terence Lim, and I'm a global black belt devices specialist, in Microsoft. So, part of my daily job scope is to work with customers and also partners, right, to kind of scale our modern work solutions. Right, that includes, Microsoft Teams meeting solutions as well as our first-party Surface devices as well.
Nice to have you here, Terence, with us.
Thank you.
Without further ado, let's begin with the first question.
Sure.
What is your view on remote and hybrid working today?
Yeah, absolutely right. So, as we think about the new remote hybrid working world, we have moved into a very unique model where today we see some of our employees going back to the workplace, and we also see some of our employees continue to work from home. Right, and with that said, the expectations of many of these employees have changed right over time. In fact, based on the survey we have seen, more than about 80% of managers are saying that they expect much more flexible work from home policies post this pandemic. And also at the same time, right, about 70% of employees have mentioned that they plan to take advantage of this new policies. So to compete in this new world, many of the leadership of the different businesses, they need to embrace extremely flexibility, right, when it comes to where, how, and when people work.
Yes, I agree with you. Hybrid working is here to stay, and it's really about the perception leaders have to include the new norm in their business strategy.
That's right.
So Terence, what trends do you expect to see coming up next, and what's the new norm looking like?
Yeah, absolutely right. So moving forward, every organization will now need to think about a new operating model when it comes to this hybrid work. Right, one that doesn't rely on old norms, like in the past, the 8 hours, typically you go to office 9 to 5 work day. So now it's kind of like a flexible work, which is going to be here to stay. So with that said, we're also kind of expecting physical workspaces to be very different moving forward as well. Right, while we no longer rely solely on physical spaces to collaborate and connect like in the past, spaces, as a concept will still be very important. Right, so like for example, right, office spaces will then need to bridge between the physical and the new digital worlds to meet the unique needs of every team and every role. So like in Microsoft, for example, right, we have actually been surveying many employees, looking at everything from social graphs all the way to employee traffic patterns to better understand how to equip teams, with the new space that they need in today's new landscape, and knowing that these needs will also evolve over time. So with that, like today's state-of-the-art Microsoft Teams Room solution that runs on Android and Windows actually aims to connect these physical spaces to digital spaces. And this leverages on the high-quality audio and video to help everyone be seen and heard clearly. In fact, Tristan, we actually have this huge partner network of OEM-certified Teams devices, and we've also Microsoft first-party Surface Hub devices as well. That it can be coupled with what we call coordinated meetings to bring about a simple one-touch joint experience into Microsoft Teams and to help our employees to connect on digital spaces seamlessly and to maximize screen estate so that everyone can see the content and also their colleagues at the same time on Microsoft Teams meetings. At the same time, we also have a lot of AI that's brought into the picture. So we have intelligent speakers that can identify who is in the room. Whoever is speaking by the individual names and their profiles are automatically represented in meeting transcripts. So this saves time post the meeting. We also have a lot of inclusive features like live captions, live transcriptions, raising of hands if someone wants to ask a question, like reactions, and even chats as well that can help people follow along and offer opportunities to chime in non-verbally or even having to interrupt the speaker. Moving forward, we also see some of these new way of inking with digital whiteboards to come about to foster collaboration and also co-creation. So people on site, for example, in a physical space, can ink directly on a Surface Hub, or people who are virtual can actually ink on their mobile phones, on their laptops, and remote participants across Microsoft Teams can also likewise draw on the same digital space and collaborate wherever they may be. So this is kind of a very seamless way to collaborate in a new space as we talked about.
Wow, that's definitely some insightful trends and interesting features Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Teams Room have to offer. I'm sure these constant product updates are very beneficial for partners and customers who use Microsoft Teams for video conferencing and collaboration, and even for their Microsoft Teams Room systems. Absolutely. So to end the session, we are also going to ask you a few questions about yourself.
Sure, of course.
Shall we start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so voice call or video call?
That's a great question. So, you ask me, I would say for me, it really depends. Right, I think for me, like, when I'm always on the go, whenever I want to be quickly having a quick conversation with somebody, I think that's where voice call would be my preference. But I think more often than not, right, otherwise, I think most of the time, I would absolutely prefer a video call. Right, this is because, I feel that with video calls, it allows us to connect and to build social capital with many people. In fact, with the person I'm talking to. And ultimately, we are all social people, and we want to be able to get together, bounce off ideas from one another, and experience the energy of in-person events. So I think having that visual representation of whoever I'm speaking to helps a lot. Yeah, and I think just to add to that point, similarly, right, when I talk to many customers as well, I think their feedback to me is they want to have a way to empower people for a way of work that is dynamic, that is fluid, and it's also powered by the cloud. So they want to find a way for people to work not just from anywhere, but also at any time, using solutions that allow both synchronous and asynchronous collaboration, to be able to use that feature, right, as a way to, the medium to express and read people's body languages, right? So having that video conferencing that's powered by technology can help create a whole new world.
Yep, indeed. I also agree that there's definitely two sides to every coin. Voice call for quick conversations and video call for more socially engaging sessions. So next up, also what do you think are your favorite features in Microsoft Teams?
Great question. So I would say, in fact, top 3 features for me. First of all, I would say emojis. And why emojis? Is because I kind of love how like we are able to just simply express likes, like anger, laugh at a comment when it's funny. Right, we're just a button click away. This makes the interaction across the virtual space much more personal, even though we're not really physically being able to do so. That's one of them. So the other feature that I really like is the PSTN telephony feature within Teams. So like whenever I'm in a Teams meeting, right, there might be some times where I'm trying to catch hold of someone who may not be available on Teams. Right, so what I can then do is just simply dial his or her mobile number. Right, this easily brings the person into the meeting whenever I need to speak to him or her. In fact, I also absolutely love this convenience of being able to place a phone call to any time, to anyone, anywhere. Be it a landline or mobile line, it's just so convenient. Like, whenever I'm traveling for work, I can just get hold of anyone I want. And the third one I would say is the together mode. With the pandemic that's drastically shifting meetings, virtually. So I think the very common feedback and I think the challenge that many people face is video fatigue, because it becomes very real that, calls after calls. Even today, like, I go travel, I end up, taking calls with different people across different countries, and that makes it really, really tiring after a long time. So with the together mode, right, with Teams, it actually can help create a very fun Teams meeting. Like, we can create a scenario where we are all, as though we are in a coffee shop, or like, we are in a classroom setting, and this kind of helps break some mundane momentum for me.
Yes, definitely. Personally, as a user, I love using emojis too to express my thoughts. And I'm sure more users will also be keen to try out the other 2 features that you have mentioned.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, lastly, can you share with us what's your favorite hobby?
Great question, man. Like, I would say, in fact, pre-pandemic, my favorite hobby would be to travel. Like, in fact, I like to travel a lot. I travel a lot for work. I used to travel a lot when I was living abroad. In fact, I've been to more than 50 countries so far, and hopefully to get to 100 someday. Yeah, so whenever I travel for work, I usually take some time over the weekend, to spend some time in the countries I visit, explore and have some fun. Today, with pandemic, kind of inhibiting travel, so yeah, I spend a lot of time even exploring Singapore, sometimes doing staycations with friends. So yeah, that's kind of where I would say it's kind of where I like to spend my time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, thank you, Terence. I enjoyed this chat, and definitely we look forward to how Microsoft and Ingram Micro can further our partnership through our extensive portfolio in the collaboration piece.
Yeah, and thank you for the partnership as well. Look forward to that.
Thank you.